course, thank you very much for coming. Um, the first talk is about why we need automation and AI in nowadays businesses. And I'm going to show you an overview of what I do with my clients. They are service-based businesses. So this is what you'll get by the end of this speech. Um, I originally designed this presentation for my clients in order to explain them why they should be using AI and automation. If you sell automation services, you get the perspective from another company who is doing this. If you sell complementary services like advertising, design, it's great because you see what happens after you generate a lead for your clients. And if you have a business, I know that there are people here that have different types of businesses. Um, it's a great way to basically get an overview of how to implement automation and AI in your business. So this is what I'm gonna talk about. What's AI and automation? The three pillars that are essential in order to implement these projects effectively in a business. Common mistakes that I often see when implementing these things in a business, and a practical example. So one process that every business has is usually sales and marketing. So I'm gonna walk you through this process, and I'm gonna show you how we can implement this. So a little bit about me. I've been in the digital marketing space since 2018, where when I joined a program with the university, we went to the Silicon Valley. So we went to visit Facebook headquarters, LinkedIn headquarters, and we met many talents that are currently working there. So that was very inspiring for me. And that's when I started in digital marketing space. That's when I registered my first uh, domain and website and things like that. And I've been in the CRM and automation field since 2019. Back then, I was working with a startup in Milan with AI. It had geolocation and AI, and the difficult part was explaining to Italian businesses that they needed the CRM. So we wanted to take them to the moon, and they were barely crossing the street, because they didn't know what the CRM was. And in the past 3 years, I've been helping youth activity centers. So music schools, dance schools, gymnastics schools in the US automate their processes. All right, so the first thing, why should we work in the business instead of, sorry, on the business instead of in the business? Because this is something that happens to everybody, to every business owner. We start with the thing, so our core skill. Um, and then at one point when things grow, we end up completely busy with manual tasks and recording activities. So this is not great because we end up just putting out fires, managing daily tasks, and we don't have time for strategic planning and for thinking about what to do in our business. And so we are not actually working on the business, but in the business. And this causes several problems because if we don't have time to think about the growth of our business, pivoting when necessary, improving the customer experience, then we end up in stagnation and missing opportunities. So what I've realized after these 3 years working with service-based businesses in the US and Canada is that there are three pillars when implementing automation projects. The first one is people. This is the most important one. If you don't have the right people, the right team, they are averse to change, nothing is going to work. Because we can have the most powerful tool, but we don't have the right team, nothing is going to work. So the first pillar is having the right people on board. The second pillar is processes. Sometimes, like I have some clients asking me, hey, I would like to automate this, but the process is not currently working. So for example, if you don't have the right advertising process in place, even if you use a Zapier to automate the emails or a CRM software, this is not going to work. So you need to have the right processes in place and the right strategy behind it. And only at the end you can have the technology. So your business is not going to grow just because you use a fancy tool. So this is the point. So people, processes, and only at the end, technology. I always say, tools are tools, so they are not a magic one. I know that we are in the bubble of AI and automation, but when we go outside and we try to help our clients or businesses implement these things, people think that it's a magic one. So technology is only an enabler. I'm gonna go through what automation in AI is, because not everybody is like fully aware of this. I know that there are people that have different businesses. So I like to say that automation is the dumb part of the things, meaning it follows the rules that you give it. So when X happens, I want to do X, Y, Z. When B happens, I want to do X, Y, Z. So yes, this is basically a flow that we can create to automate a basic, like basic recurring task that we have in a business. While artificial intelligence is more like a brain. So it's a technology that simulates human learning. So basically can help us make decisions, create content, and it functions like a brain. So together we can combine the two, automation and AI. And for example, if we have a website and we have a form for asking our clients if they have questions or anything that they would like to, a request that they would like to send, we can also integrate AI, and we can give it a knowledge base, and it can help us create a draft for that response. So a user sends a request from the website, we can automatically notify our team, and thanks to the AI, we can create automatically a draft to respond to our customer. So this is a quick example of how to automate, for example, customer service using automation and AI. We have automation, the hand, and then we have AI, which is the brain. So it helps us crafting the response. This is another example, AI assistants. I think you have heard about AI assistants, of course. How many of you are actually using AI assistants at the moment? Okay, so for the ones who are not using them, this is a simple GPT. So if you use ChatGPT and you pay the $20 per month, you are able to create a GPT, which is a simple example of an AI assistant. So you can create your knowledge base, let's say internal procedures that you have in your company. You can upload them to the GPT, and then you can give it to your team members if they have questions like how should I handle this case? Boom, and then the GPT can answer. Or you can use it for customer service. So you can upload the guidelines for replying to customers, examples of past answers, etc., etc. And this, of course, speeds up the process of answering your customers, or guides your team through the everyday tasks. If they don't remember something, they can just ask ChatGPT, and then thanks to the knowledge base and to the AI, then they have their answers. Okay, so I know that many of us already know about AI, but I always wanted to go through the misconception that we have about AI, because many people, even people that work in this industry, think that it's a magic word. So the first misconception about AI is that it will replace all jobs. The point is that a fool with a tool is still a fool. So AI is great, but then if you are not a data analyst, you are not a data analyst just because you ask things to ChatGPT. So it's a tool, and we need it's a tool that empowers people. So if you are an expert using AI, you speed up the process. You can deliver better service faster and better. But if you are not an expert, AI doesn't make you an expert. The second thing is that AI can do everything on its own. I know that now with AI assistants is going crazy. Like if you see ads online, it seems like they're going to do everything, even the coffee for you in the morning. So it's important to know that, especially for businesses that have nuanced processes with a lot of scenarios and things that you need to consider, it doesn't do everything on its own, meaning you need to guide it. you always need it to supervise it because, for example, if you have a chatbot on your website to reply to customer requests, sometimes the knowledge base doesn't have the answer to that question. So you need to keep an eye on it. And every time that you see something like a new questions that you received, etc., you need to fine tune the chatbot. So this is to say that it's not something that you set up and then you forget it. And last but not least, AI is perfect or unbiased. This is actually a screenshot from ChatGPT. ChatGPT can make mistakes, check important information. Sometimes it kind of varies the reply that it gives you based on how you ask the questions. For example, if you ask, is it true that situation A is better than B? Sometimes it replies, oh yes, because of X, Y, Z. But then if you ask something more neutral, like what do you think about situation A and B, then it gives you a more neutral answer. So this is to say that it is important to know how to ask questions to the AI. It's not a magic wand. So this is important whether you want to implement this in your business or you do it for clients. So this is a say that they have in the data analysis world, garbage in, garbage out. So the AI works well if you give it the right inputs, all right? So quickly, if you are a business owner or a manager, these are the benefits of implementing such systems. So as I said, the technology is an enabler. So it helps you delegate effectively to your team if you are a manager, or to the different departments if you are a business owner that has many departments. It boosts your team's productivity and efficiency because you enable your team. And it also helps you monitor real-time the results. Many businesses have this problem. They have different departments, different tools. They don't have dashboards to monitor the progress of their business. So if you ask them, okay, how is your business doing? They don't have a dashboard with important KPIs that they can monitor. So automation and AI also helps you do this. All right, these are only the direct benefits of automation. So time saving and consistency and accuracy and improved efficiency and effectiveness are just the direct effects of automation and AI. Of course, when you automate a process, you save time, it's more accurate, and efficiency is higher. But what I always say to my clients is that the most important benefit is that you avoid the opportunity cost. So the things that you could be doing if you weren't stuck in daily tasks. So this is the biggest effect of automation, not automating tasks, but what you do instead of doing recurring tasks. You are growing your business. You are focused on high-level activities, not on updating spreadsheets or doing recurring activities. So for what concerns the process, as I said, once you have an automated system, the team follows the procedures and the automation automates the recurring tasks. You generate data, and only at this point, you can analyze and create dashboards to monitor your business. I'm saying this because sometimes people try to jump right into the last one. No, I want a dashboard. They don't understand that behind the dashboard, there are processes. And behind the processes, there are systems that enable the processes. And behind that, there are people who are using the softwares. Especially in the manufacturing industry, sometimes salesmen, for example, they don't use the CRM properly. So how can you analyze the sales data if your salespeople are not using the CRM tool? All right. So I know that we are in different industries, but what I would like to do right now is to go through the sales and marketing process, because people that are, let's say, that don't fully grasp the tech side of the things can have an overview of the tech stack that they need. So this is a customer journey from lead generation, lead nurturing. We convert our clients or our customers, and then customer retention. Every business has these phases, basically. So at the beginning, we use a CRM software. How many of you have heard or know about CRM softwares? Okay, almost everybody. So what do we do with this? We basically organize all our information about the campaigns, the lead sources, the information about the leads, and we organize them in one place. Then what happens is that these clients, these leads convert into clients, into customers. And many of us use different tools. For example, the healthcare industry uses EHR systems. This is for like managing the patients. You have the history of every treatment that the patient has done with you. And manufacturing industries, they have ERP systems for managing the logistics of delivering a product or building the product. So very often, these tools are disconnected. The CRM tools, where you run your sales and marketing operations, is very often disconnected to the other side, to the other processes, ERP systems and EHR systems. So how can they talk to each other? Well, as I said, automation. This is a simple workflow that I created for one of my clients. When something happens at the beginning, like a student enrolls in a class, then we have built a whole conditional logic to handle, is this enrollment for summer, for school year, for what program? Is this for a new family or for a family who is adding an enrollment? So this is something that you can create also for your business. When you map out the entire process and you have a conditional logic clear in mind, then you can automate all the steps with tools like Zapier. So this is the automation part. Okay, yes. So all right. So we said that the CRM is a database to store all this information. We basically can stalk our people and know if they are opening our emails and at what stage of the funnel they are in this very moment. And this is the part for salespeople. How many of you are at the moment using like pipelines for managing the leads? Okay, perfect. So it's a way for the ones that are not using it currently, it's a way to manage the follow-up and also for storing notes about the leads. So your salespeople can follow up and call the leads. Why is this important? Because still nowadays, many people use spreadsheets. They receive requests from different people, from leads, etc. And they use spreadsheets to keep track of the follow-up that they have to do. If you use a CRM, then all this process is streamlined in the CRM. I'm saying this also because many advertising agencies, sometimes they deliver the leads with spreadsheets to the customers. So this is important because this also diminishes the efficiency of your services if you run ads for clients. So it's important that you are aware that you need to know that your clients need to be using a software to manage properly those leads. Otherwise, the efficiency of your services decreases as well. All right, so every process can be automated using these tools. Last but not least, we have the reporting. As I said, people are enabled by technology. So they basically manage the daily processes in a business. This produces data and we can store them in a database. And the last step is analyzing this data. So this is how we can create the real-time dashboards that are fed step by step as people run the daily operations. Then data is produced, and then we can create a real-time dashboards to connect the dots between all your processes, from sales and marketing to service delivery to everything. All right, so this is now working. All right.
I just want to take the opportunity to ask everybody, is the monitor clear for you on the back? Is because I thought too much light it would. No, it's fine. Okay. What about, do you want some windows open? It's fine. It's fine.
So this is, all right. All right. So this is an example of a dashboard that can be created, and it is very useful for marketing agencies who are running ads for clients. So you can show like the ROI that your services are bringing to your clients. And if you are a business owner, of course, you want to know how many leads you generated over a period of time. You want to have a breakdown by source. You want to know, and instead of doing these all manually, you can just click on each one of these parts and it automatically filters the numbers. So if you want to know the ROI that one channel is generating, you can just click here and you have all the KPIs under control. And this is fed by the automated system that I showed you before. And of course, the people who are using the tools. Okay, technology is not helping me today. All right. Okay, so the last part is about some mistakes to avoid based on my experience managing this type of projects. The first one is avoiding the shiny object syndrome. Sometimes people switch tools every year, especially CRM tools. Now there are many that are very like booming. So especially now with AI, every software claims to be AI powered, blah, blah, blah. So it is very important when you start managing a project like this to not have a shiny object syndrome. Choose the right tool and then stick with it. Because otherwise you spend your time just switching between tools and your team doesn't have the time to learn the tool, to adapt to the new processes, and therefore you don't see the results. So this is the first one. The second one is don't start with the tool, but start with the strategy first. So as I said at the beginning, your business will not boom because you use a cool tool or Zapier and you have automated a couple of emails. But the first point should be always the strategy. And then at the point, you can go out there and start searching tools for whatever process. Too often I see people starting with a tool because there is a tool that is very cool. So yeah, let me use it. But we should always start with the strategy. And that's why tools are only enablers. So if you're not an expert, if you don't know the strategy, nothing is going to work. And the last one, delegate, don't abdicate. So if you are a manager or an entrepreneur who wants to do this type of projects, it's always great to learn a little bit about these tools. Sometimes people hate the technology part, or your clients hate the technology part, but I can tell you that it's very important that either you or your clients learn a little bit about this, because otherwise nothing else is going to work. And the educational part of this, it is very important to make the overall process very effective and efficient.